Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, oh Hare Rama, oh Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances of the Shishur Prabhupada. Welcome to devotees to this morning's Bhagavatam class. Today's Bhagavatam class, sorry. Today, unfortunately, Candramauli Swami will not be able to join us, so he has asked me to give the class on his behalf. So I ask devotees for your patience and your tolerance as he has assigned me this task of giving class. And I hope that I can fulfill Marge's request and expectations. So we'll start with the class without further delay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Verse 20, and the chapter is entitled The First Step of God Realization. And we'll go into the Sanskrit, and from there we'll continue into the discussion of the verse. Rajastamobhyam akshitam vimudham mana atmana yachetarana yadhiro anti yat tatkritam malam. Rajastamobhyam akshitam vimudham mana atmana Yachedharana yadhiro hanti yatakritam malam rajastamaobhyamakshitam vimudham mana atmana yachedharana yadhiro hanti yatakritam malam. Synonyms: Raja, the passionate mode of nature; Tamobhyam, as well as by the ignorant mode of material nature; Akshitam, agitated; Vimudham, bewildered; Mana, the mind; Atmana, of one's own; Yachit, get it rectified; Dharanaya, by conception of Vishnu; Dhira, the pacified; Hanti, destroys; Ya, all those; Tat kritam, done by them; Malam, dirty things. Srila Prabhupada's translation and purport: one's mind is always agitated by the passionate mode of material nature and bewildered by the ignorant mode of nature. But one can rectify such conceptions by the relation of Vishnu and thus become pacified by by cleansing the dirty things created by them. Purport. Persons generally conducted by the modes of passion and ignorance cannot be bona fide candidates for being situated in the transcendental stage of God realization. Only persons conducted by the mode of goodness can have the knowledge of supreme truth. Effects of the modes of passion and ignorance are manifested by too much hankering after wealth and women. And those who are too much after wealth and women can rectify their leanings only by constant remembrance of Vishnu in his feature composed of impersonal potencies. Generally, the impersonalist or monist are influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance. Such impersonalists think of themselves as liberated souls, but they have no knowledge of the transcendental personal feature of the absolute truth. Actually, they are impure in heart on account of being devoid of knowledge of the personal feature of the absolute. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that after many hundreds of births, the impersonal philosopher surrenders unto the personality of Godhead. To acquire such a qualification of God realization in the personal feature, the neophyte impersonalist is given a chance to realize the relation of the Lord in everything by the philosophy of pantheism. Pantheism in its highest status does not permit the student to form an impersonal conception of the absolute truth, but it extends the conception of the absolute truth into the field of the so-called material nature, material energy. Everything created by the material energy can be dovetailed with the absolute by the attitude of service, which is the essential part of living energy. The pure devotee, excuse me, the pure devotee of the Lord knows the art of converting everything into its spiritual existence by the service attitude. And only in that devotional way can the theory of pantheism be perfected. Om Aganati Mirandhyasya Gana Gana Shalakaya Chakshur Onmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here Srila Prabhupada broke it down from the mode of passion, mode of ignorance, to mode of goodness, and where the mode of goodness takes us to. So here, we want to first deduce, what is the mode of passion? What are the symptoms of the mode of passion? What are the characteristics of the mode of passion? So as Srila Prabhupada says, the mode of passion is, and ignorance, is when we are hankering after wealth and women. Now, the characteristics of the mode of passion is, the 6 enemies of the mind, right? Greed, anger, lust, illusion of the mind, frustration, ambition, ambition in the sense of wanting more and more and more, which is greed, and unlimited desires in the mode of passion. It's not enough. We always want more and more and more. Well, we have heard this pastime from Srila Prabhupada, where Srila Prabhupada says, when a businessman is starting off a business and he gets a $1 profit and he's really happy, but it's not enough. Then he says, okay, now I need to try to get $10 profit. Then he works hard and he gets a $10 profit. Then he goes to, okay, I'm going to try for $100 profit. He gets it, still not satisfied. It goes on and on and on. The greed, it's not fulfilled, unfulfilled desires and longings. And another aspect of the mode of passion, or in addition to what we just spoke about the mode of passion, is the symptoms or the characteristics, is attraction to women, sense gratification, excessive attachment to family. I was remembering reading an obituary of a person, I want to say a few months ago. And they talked about, whenever they have an obituary, they talk about what all his material achievements, where he lives, the number of people in his family, the family members. And then they mention about his, what you call it, his house pet was a dog. And they were describing how much he would spend time with the dog and how much he was always thinking about a dog and how much he loved the dog. And I was thinking to myself, Hare Krishna, now is this guy going to come back in the body of a dog, because he really was attached to this dog, as they were describing in his obituary. So this excessive attachment of family, society, country, constant engagement in fruitive action, always engaged in an activity that is, what is in it for me and what will I get out of it? That is the mode of passion, symptoms of the mode of passion. Then we go, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, chapter 25, 17, Srila Prabhupada says in the translation that the symptoms of mode of passion is distorted intelligence. And why is the intelligence distorted? Because it is engaged in too much activity for sense gratification. So it's interesting how Srila Prabhupada used the word distorted for intelligence when it's used for too much activities involving sense gratification, which means that if we are using our senses in sense gratification, too much activity in sense gratification, we can't build spiritual intelligence. It's going to be very material intelligence. And we all know, and we have heard quite a bit, that material intelligence distorts our intelligence. It distorts our thoughts. It distorts our mind. It distorts the way we think, the way we act, the way we behave. It really distorts it because our minds are engaged in activities that is concludes to sense gratification. Srila Prabhupada also even says that the senses are not able, now this is Srila Prabhupada's symptoms of the mode of passion from Srimad Bhagavatam 11, 25, 17, where Srila Prabhupada also says that the senses are not able to disentangle from mundane object. So that's a very interesting way how Srila Prabhupada worded that sentence, right? The senses are not able to disentangle from the mundane object. So which means, if we think about it, if we think of a rope, right? Or when the rope, or chain or something that is disentangled, it's difficult to entangle a disentangled piece of, rope or chain or whatever. We have to really sit and find the one end of it and find the other end of it and how to loosen the knot. It is disentangled. That is our consciousness. That it's so disentangled that it's a challenge to disentangle it from a particular mundane object. It's tied up like a knot. Tied up like a knot. So that was a powerful way how Srila Prabhupada said that one of the symptoms of the mode of passion is when the senses are not able to pull itself away from the mundane object because it's caught. It's entangled in it. He also says that the symptoms of mode of passion is unhealthy condition of working of working physical organs, meaning is when we engage our physical organs in an unhealthy way. Now, what is an unhealthy way? An unhealthy way when you work like a dog, right? Rather than taking to God, G-O-D, we work like a dog, D-O-G. And when the mind is unsteady, mode of passion, passionate people, their mind is so unsteady that it's always racing, how to do more, how to do more, how to do more, how to do more. I need more, I need more, I need more. It's constantly unsteady, and it's always thinking of, I need to do more, I need to do more, I need to do more. You know, it's very unhealthy if we think about it. You know, if we were to have that same consciousness of I need to do more for Krishna consciousness, wow, we will be in the mode of transcendence. But we are so focused, that people are so focused in engaging the minds in a material life of I need this, 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 when all the needs are actually greed. All the needs are actually greed. I remember my husband and I, we just went recently to attend a program in Maryland 2 weeks ago. And there was a question asked by a person. I don't know if he was new, but the question and the personality of the person sounds like he's very new to the movement, to Krishna consciousness. And he asked the question, and he says, Prabhu, and he was asking this to my husband. He said, our minds are always thinking of greed. How can I get away from it? So my husband gave the answer. He asked the same question again in another way. Another devotee in the congregation, who's also a preacher, answered the question. The guy was not satisfied. He asked the question another way. Then I gave the answer. He asked the same question the fourth different way. And all three of us gave him the answer, and we had to end the class because he was not satisfied of what he was listening, because he was still attached to the greed. Like what your Prabhupada says, right? Our senses are so entangled into that mundane object that we don't even know. And even when we're getting the help and we're getting the answer, we are still not seeing that that's the answer, because our senses are so entangled in that mundane object and that mundane activity. It's really, the needs are greeds. In material life, the needs are greeds. If we were to look and break down or study a little bit on the characteristics of ignorance, laziness, apathy, like there's no goal. It's just like, moping around, as we say, right? And stinginess, again, going back to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, chapter 12, so chapter 25, verses 2 through 5, Srila Prabhupada says, and he lists the characteristics of symptoms of mode of ignorance. Stinginess, living as a parasite. I thought that was a very powerful statement by Srila Prabhupada, where he said that the symptoms of a mode of ignorance is living as a parasite, which means laziness, which means we hang on to someone for all our needs and we just suck them dry, we just suck them dry, symptoms of mode of mode of ignorance is hypocrisy, always backbiting, hypocrisy, always quarreling, because they just love to quarrel. And I met people and I know people who love to quarrel. If there's no quarrel, it's like they think life is just too quiet. They want to quarrel. People in the mode of ignorance are very unhappy. And they're always lamenting, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't. It's actually not, no, I can't. I don't want to. That's what it is. And also they sleep a lot. I mean, they can sleep all day. I know few people, where they struggle to do 2 rounds a day, which takes what, 12 minutes, 14 minutes, something like that. But they have a set time every evening to play 4 hours of video game. Laziness, laziness, you know? Yeah, it's really sad how to see how in this material world there are people who really, really are caught up in these two modes. And that's why Shiv Prabhupada says, in order for us to really understand God realization, we have to come out of these two modes and we got to go to the mode of goodness. We got to go to the mode of goodness. Another good point, an interesting point that Shiv Prabhupada mentions in this verse is pantheism. So what is the philosophy of pantheism? People in the consciousness of pantheism, they equate God with nature in the sense that what it implies that whatever exists in nature is all there is to God and nothing more than that. So, whatever they see, whatever exists in nature, in the material world, in the material energy, that is all there is to God, and there's nothing beyond that. And we all know that is not the case. And that's why Srila Prabhupada mentions very nicely that in order to convert that consciousness of everything is created by the material energy can be dovetailed in service attitude. So nicely, Srila Prabhupada is saying, even if we think, the philosophy of pantheism, whatever exists in nature, that is all there is to God. But if we even have that consciousness, right, we can dovetail that consciousness to the Supreme Lord by engaging in service, attitude of service, which is the essential part of every living entity. I mean, if you think of it, we are somehow or the other serving somebody. We are either serving our family, our parents, our children, our supervisor, our boss, manager, serving our country, serving, we are serving somebody, serving our senses, right? Some way or the other, we are serving somebody and something. There was a nice T-shirt that I saw many years ago, and some guy down the street, meaning somewhere downtown, It said something like, I'm trying to remember, it said something like, we've tried everything, so try serving God. And that's true. Try serving God. We have spent lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes serving our senses, serving our families, serving whoever we are attached to. Why not serve God? So that we can dovetail the material, whatever is created by the material energy, we can dovetail and convert it by serving in Krishna consciousness, in devotional service. Devotional service is the essence of bhakti. Bhakti, we know, means devotion. But who is the mother of devotion? Radharani. So when Radharani is the mother of devotion, and when we are engaged in devotional service, that is a privilege. I was reading a nice quote by Radhanath Swami a couple of weeks ago, where Radhanath Swami was mentioning in this quote, devotional service is a privilege. It is a privilege. if we just step back and take a moment and think about how fortunate we are to be engaged in devotional service, that sometimes what happens is when we are given devotional service, we are sometimes, folks are quick to say no because they think, oh, it's coming in my way of my life. It is coming in my existence. It's interrupting the flow of my life. I've come across people that actually say that, and it's really sad because it's a very rare opportunity to be able to do service when we can. Of course, when we can't do service because it's really, because legitimate reasons, we get that. But if it's an excuse because, we feel, no, it is a burden, it's coming in my way of my life, it's interrupting the flow of my life, I am not coming out of my comfort zone. But we are ready to come out of our comfort zone for anything that is non-spiritual, then definitely, we are shunning away the mercy of service. I remember my senior god sister many, many, many years ago in Gitanagri, she would always tell us that mercy flows incessantly. It depends who wants to get the mercy. And when mercy is knocking on our door in the form of devotional service, and because we are not willing to come out of our comfort zone, we are not willing to do it because we are attached to how we want things to be, we don't want service to affect the flow of our lives, we say no, and then we close the door. Mercy is not going to stop there. It's going to go to the next door and knock on another person's door. So either we luck out of mercy or we grab the mercy. So we have to really see, can I go above and beyond for service, for devotional service? And very nicely, Srila Prabhupada is bringing and concluding this whole purport to service attitude. Because the more we engage in devotional service, the more it's going to bring us to the mode of goodness and higher. And hopefully in the mode of Krishna consciousness, transcendence, right? That is the reason why we have what is called the Vaidhi Bhakti. The Vaidhi Bhakti is the rules and regulations of devotional service, the rules and regulations of devotional life. If we follow the rules and regulations of devotional service, it improves our service attitude. It improves our consciousness of service attitude. It improves and develops our commitment to service attitude. It improves our dedication to wanting to do more and more and more. It brings us to the level of mode of transcendence, mode of Krishna consciousness. And it starts by engaging in devotional service. And devotional service is the only way that we can get out of this mode of passion, mode of ignorance, pantheism, and whatever philosophy they have out there. It's only by engaging our minds and our senses in devotional service. Because if we are engaging in devotional service, whether it be in the temple, whether it be book distribution or cooking or whatever it is, our minds are engaged, our senses are engaged, whole body is engaged, right? That is the reason why it's so important that we are always engaged in devotional service. Devotional service is very, very purifying. In fact, Srila Prabhupada was saying that it's very important, and I've heard it from many devotees actually, senior devotees, where they say menial service is mandatory to develop humility. Menial service meaning what? Washing the pots and the pans, cleaning, cooking, scrubbing, washing bathrooms, washing the floors, mopping the floors. Menial service is mandatory to develop humility in devotional service. I remember there was one situation that I asked a devotee, if they could wash the women's bathroom to be on the roster. And this person did not want to do it because they were so concerned about what will happen to their sari, and what will happen to their hair. It went on for months and months, and I told this person, you can always go home and take a bath. But so just thinking that way, right? To put our sari and our hair before devotional service, it shows where our consciousness is at. We are very much attached to our clothing, our hair, our body, that we don't want to do menial service. But menial service is the only, is mandatory for developing humility in devotional service. Very important, because it is only through devotional service that we can develop the right service attitude. We can learn how to do, what not to do, what to do. It's just like driving a car, right? If we do not drive the car according to the rules and regulations of the driving law, we're going to get in an accident. We will get in an accident, and we will cause others to get into an accident with us, right? If we do not get up on time to go to work, what happens? We will get first warning, second warning, third warning by the supervisors, right? So everything in material life has rules and regulations. It does. If we just stopped to think for a moment, everything in devotional life, everything in the material life has rules and regulations, and if we do not follow it, we suffer. Same thing happens in Krishna consciousness. There are rules and regulations in how to perform devotional service. And why is that there? To help us develop the humility that is needed in devotional service, to help us develop the understanding that I am not the body, I am the spirit soul, to help us clean our hearts and our minds. Cheto Darpana Marjanam, right? This is why we do devotional service. And who better than Lord Chaitanya has come in the Supreme Personality of Godhead form, right? And clean the temple of Gundicha, not once, not twice, until the fine dirt and straw and anything was free from the temple. He personally showed the devotees how to clean the Gundicha temple. Personally showed. Amazing. I mean, how fortunate we are, right? That the Supreme Lord has come to show us how to clean the temple. But when we are asked, sometimes folks get hesitant. But we are chanting. It goes back even further down to the basics of the chanting of the holy name. When we're chanting the holy name, we're asking the Lord, please engage me in devotional service to you. That is the Maha Mantra. Please engage me in devotional service to you. And the devotion is Mother of Devotion. And that is Radharani, which is the essence of bhakti that comes from service, that service attitude. So we are chanting, please engage me in devotional service. So when service comes, it really helps us to develop the right service attitude of how to do, how not to do, so that we can become better in service, even in deity worship, right? We just don't dress the deities. For those of us who do deity worship, we just don't dress the deities any way we want. That's a system. First you do this, first you do this, first you do this, first you do this. There is rules and regulations even in deity service. And why is that so? To help us develop the understanding that this is the Supreme Personality of God, is not some toy. And there is a way how we treat the Lord. We do not treat the Lord any way we want. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So everything in life has rules and regulations. even in devotional service, because we are not, at least I am not elevated enough to really understand the Raganuga Bhakti, which is spontaneous devotional service. And what does that mean? That we serve spontaneously without any if, without any buts, without any comma. We'll just get up and go and do it. No question asked. That means that is spontaneity. But until we are not at that level of spontaneous devotional service, then we have to always think, I'm at the Vaidhi Bhakti level, rules and regulations. And the more we engage ourselves in devotional service, the more it's going to clean our hearts. And the more it's going to clean our hearts and our minds, the more it's going to, help us to develop that mood of surrender. Help us to develop that mood of, I want to do more and more and more. Help us to develop the understanding of, wow, let me serve the devotees of the Lord. It's so pleasing. It's so refreshing. It's so nice. It's so this, it's so that. It's so important to actually really engage ourselves in service, because either we engage ourselves in service or in Maya. It's that there are just two choices. It's one or the other. There's nothing else. Either Krishna or Maya, right? So it's so nice that Prabhupada concluded this verse, this purport, with service attitude, which is the basis of devotional service. So I will conclude this verse here, and I will stop sharing and will ask devotees if you're able to turn on your videos wherever you are at, and we will welcome any questions, any comments. I think I saw something in the chat that I'm going to read, and that is from Bhaktin Bani. Menial service is excellent. Oh, yes, it is. But service must be voluntary. Yes. Excuse me. If people in temple ashram want to give people who live outside service to clean temple bathroom, this could seem strange and insulting, yes, to them. It could seem like the residents expect guests to clean. Oh, yes, absolutely. I would not definitely ask guests to clean for, they need time to be a resident. We can't expect the guests to come and clean, to come and wash, to come and do that. We should be serving the guest. Actually, what I have learned in my devotional service is that when newcomers come, when guests come, the more we serve them, the more they will feel an inclination to reciprocate. It just happens that way. The more we serve the devotees, the more we serve the guests, the more we serve the newcomers, they will automatically want to reciprocate back to the temple. That has been my personal experience. And if residents won't clean their bathrooms, then that is another story altogether. Yeah, that's a different story. Cleaning someone else's bathroom is a nice service, but not if someone else is asking them to do it for no apparent reason. Yes, it should always be done in the mood of I want to do. And the I want to do happens when, I want to do happens when they are feeling more inclined. Hold on 1 minute. So in the mode of by engaging in service, it naturally will come. It naturally will come if we choose to want to clean our hearts and our minds. If we don't want to choose to clean our hearts and our minds, then we're going to be stuck in the mode of passion and ignorance. And because that is what the material world is all about. The material world is about how to tie us down in the repeated cycle of birth and death. That is the goal of the material world. There's nothing better than that. So as long as we have the desire to want to come out of the material world and to be to engage in devotional service, to serve one another. I mean, Krishna very nicely says in Bhagavad Gita, if you serve my devotees, you're serving me. He so nicely says that. So the more we do that, and like I said earlier, when we serve the devotees, when we have this one-on-one interaction, this one-on-one personalism, they will want to reciprocate through service. It just happens, we kill it with kindness, as they say. When we kill it with kindness, it will start cleaning the heart, and they'll say, you know what, I want to do, like we have this very nice couple in my temple, very nice Nepali couple, and they're always thinking of how I can serve. So every time they come to the temple, they're such a nice couple. Every time they come to the temple, and they've been coming for, I want to say, for about almost 2 years, I guess. But even when they were coming to the temple, during prasadam time, after they have prasadam, we always have pots and pans to wash in the kitchen. Without us asking them, they will just naturally go to the kitchen and clean the pots and pans so quietly, and we won't even know they have done it. They just do it. And then we go there and we're like, wait, the pots are washed? Like, who did it? And we see this couple, and we are all busy serving, busy eating and talking and chit-chatting, right? Association. But then this two husband and wife, they slowly get up, they slowly walk into the kitchen, and they're like washing. And they do it almost every week. Almost every week. And when I tell them, I said, Prabhu, you're making me feel guilty because you're always doing it, please. He says, no, Mataji, this is the least that I can do for the Lord and his devotees. And they do it with their hearts every time they come, whether they are on the cleaning roster or not, they do it. Really nice. And why? And then I asked them, I said, why do you do it every time? Says, Mataji, you all do so much for us. The least we can do is this. See, that is the attitude service. Are we grateful? The attitude of gratitude, right? Are we grateful? How do you want to reciprocate? Do you want to build a relationship? Do we want the mercy, of devotional service? So, yeah. We have another question here. My experience from Dheeraj Prabhu, my experience when I visited temple is I want service. That is maybe backup or cleaning Radharani's kitchen, ironing Prabhupada's, oh, how nice, ironing Prabhupada's clothes or making garland, whatever I can get. But when I don't get service in a temple, I feel like Radha Govinda is not satisfied with my previous service. No, we shouldn't. It's funny that there are many people that I get this question from, oh, if I don't get service, then means the Lord is not satisfied. No, that's one thing that one of my my senior god sister also mentioned is when we don't get service, we shouldn't think that the Lord is not satisfied. What we should do is we should go look for service. Even if someone doesn't give us service, we go look for service. We can probably sweep the floor. No one is going to say, oh, Prabhu, don't sweep the floor. It's already been swept. No, sweep the floor again. I mean, Lord Chaitanya did not clean the Gundicha temple once. He did it more than once. He did it many times until everything was cleaned. And there is no temple floor that we will not find a speck. I mean, speaking from experience. So speaking from experience, but if we are not given a service, then we ask for service. And if they still say, oh, there's no service, then we go looking for service. Even if it means putting the tables away, even if it means straightening the, whatever, even if it means taking, a cleaner to wipe the table, even if it means wiping the, whatchamacallit, cleaning the windows, just take it and do it. Just take it and do it. We don't have to be asked. We just go and look for service. And there will be service. There is no ISKCON temple that I know of that will tell you, no, Prabhu, all service is done. I haven't met one yet. I know if there is, please let me know. But I haven't met one temple that says all service is done. So there is always service. If we are not given service, then we go look for service. That was my, my experience. Another point by Scarlett is Prabhupada's commentary on that is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 25. I will post it here. Let me just get my notes out. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 25. Oops, sorry, verses 2 through 5. Oh, I can't even type. This is very sad. And Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 25, verse 27, I believe is the other one, right? No, verse 17. There we go. That's the quote from Prabhupada's commentary from Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. Any other questions from devotees or even a sharing? I would like to hear your sharing, your realization, your thoughts. Please do jump right in. Comment from Amritanam. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance. I was thinking how hopeless we are in Kali Yuga, how hopeless we Kali Yuga jivas are. I know, right? I was thinking about that too, Amrita, now that Mahaprabhu had to come and show us how to clean. That is so true. We don't even know how to do cleaning. That is such a good point because that also was one of my point, that the Lord had to show us how to clean, and not once, not twice, several times, right? How to clean, how to pull out every speck, how to pull out every dirt, how to go back and clean again. Yeah, absolutely. We, like I said, we are messed up in this Kali Yuga. We need help of how to do simple, basic cleaning. Yeah, very, very nice point, Amritanam. Thank you. Bhaktin Bonnie says that uh, there is no such thing as no service available. Oh, yes, there is no such thing. Even if a temple bans you can go and Harinam yourself, distribute your Prabhupada's books, chanting, hearing, Harikatha, reading. Yep, there is no service that the concept, there's no service, doesn't exist in ISKCON. There are many ways of how to do service, many ways. And Dheeraj says even Guru Maharaj taught us how to clean in one of the class. Wow, we have so much mercy. Yes, cleaning is the best. Actually, if we go back in the days and read, from Srila Prabhupada disciples, every one of them joined the temple with their first service being cleaning. Every one of them. If we ask any of the proper disciples, what was their first service? They'll say cleaning. That's just how it started. That's exactly how it started. So cleaning service is the best. Because why? It's cleaning our hearts. It's cleaning our minds. It's cleaning our consciousness. It's cleaning our thoughts. Actually, the more service we do, the more it will reduce our attachments to material life. It will reduce our greed. It will reduce our wants also, actually. And it will also reduce it will control our senses to being attached to sense gratification. The more we do service, the more we do it, the more we do it, the more it is going to really clean us up. And, and we will slowly see that, I don't have interest in this. I don't have interest in that. And I don't have, what used to interest me then, it doesn't interest me now. What I used to enjoy doing then, I don't enjoy it now. And it's because of the mercy of devotional service, because devotional service is cleaning our hearts and showing us, you know what, this is what you used to do then, but now do it for me. It's so much more pleasurable. It's so much more, so much more happiness involved in it, So yes, so we can learn from our acharyas, from our spiritual masters, from senior devotees. What was the first service? Was cleaning. They all joined that way. I know my spiritual master, when he came to, I think it was the Brooklyn, the New York temple, I think it's Brooklyn temple, 1970 or 1971, and he came in a coat and suit, a very expensive, spiffy jiffy coat, suit. And he was put into the kitchen, and in that expensive suit, and he rolled off his sleeves, took off his coat, and started washing the pots, and he didn't even care that his suit got dirty. And he says, "Yep, I'm here to stay." And once he did that, he gave everything up. And that's just what it does. Yep. Yes, Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu, please, Prabhu.
Thank you. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Accept
All
my-
glories to Srila Prabhupada. All
Jai.
glories to Guru Raj. All glories to all of the Vaishnavas. Thank you for that class. You touched on so many topics. It was like hard to know which one to focus on sometimes.
Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy, Prabhu.
There was something that I was a little confused about. Well, maybe not confused, it's not the best word, but something I'd like you to explain further. Now, when we're talking about, for many of us, we remember our lives before we knew anything about Krishna consciousness, when we were totally entangled, as you described it, with material objects, material desires, etc. And in those days, if somebody said, "Okay, these are the 4 regulative principles," you'd think, no way, forget it. And somehow we come on this journey, and at some point, and it seems like, okay, we make the endeavor, but our endeavor's, so tiny, it's so weak, we've not achieved we've not got what we've got because of our own efforts. It's some kind of magic, some kind of mercy that's come in. And then it's quite easy to say 4 regs, that's easy, I'm totally not interested, I don't want any of that stuff. But at the same time, and you may be carrying on very nicely for some time, but you always feel because we've seen all the examples in the Bhagavatam, etc. For all of those experiences from this lifetime, so many other lifetimes, is still there somewhere in that consciousness at the back, and you weren't doing it just chasing the rainbow. You was doing it because there was some kind of pleasure.
Pot of gold.
Yes. But you think at any point there's this constant fear that at any point that magic could disappear for a moment, and you could easily get tangled very quickly.
Yes.
So what is it that holds you back from dropping into that being taken away for the moment or a day or longer?
Very powerful question, Prabhu. Devotion, we need devotees. We cannot do it on our own. That's my personal belief and opinion. We need a family of devotees to keep us strong, just as in if you look at a family household, husband, wife, 2 children, the husband and the wife, they work so closely together to make sure that the family stays intact. And they'll do whatever it takes that the family stays intact. And then you have grandparents coming in, and the grandparents are going to make sure that the love stays between the family, always staying intact, you know. If we use that same if we use that same example in Krishna consciousness, is we have a family. Prabhupada built a house where the whole world can live in. And we have chosen to be part of that house that the Lord has created, that Prabhupada has created. And we need devotees. And I don't know if I've shared this before on this forum, but I have personally experienced the what's the word, what it feels like to not have devotees in your life. It's very scary. It's very scary. It's so scary that what I call it, it's almost like spiritual suicide. And when we come to that stage of spiritual suicide, we are so stuck in it that we don't even know that we are going through that. Until and unless we allow someone to knock on our door and say, "Can I come help you?" And we open the door. So we always need to make sure, that we are always in touch. We always have devotees calling on us and asking us at least once a week, how are you doing? It's like reigniting the flame of relationship. Just whenever we get this phone call from a devotee and saying, checking in with you, how are you doing? It's like someone thought of me. Okay, he or she has been there. Krishna is sending this person to me. So we always have to make sure that we maintain a certain connection with certain devotees whom we know that we can lean on at any time, anywhere. Like, for example, like me and Sri Devi, we've known each other since the 90s. We don't see each other. We hardly see each other except for the Zoom forum, I think we haven't seen each other in person. Last time was in Mayapur for like one day. But before that, it was like what, 10 years, 20 years prior? But does that mean that we have lost connection? No. When she has a question, she calls me from India. The connection is there because why? We know, even though we don't see each other, but I can call this person to lean on, to speak, to talk, to share, to save me, to pull me back so that I don't slip away. We have to have at least 2 or 3. It doesn't have to be a whole school of devotees, just 2 or 3 that we can lean on and say, I need help. I need help. And that devotee also says, how are you doing? Like we need that at least once a week. And the only way, Prabhu, because see, Maya is so strong. She just needs an opening where an air can go through. Not even a mustard seed. Even that's too big, actually. Enough of a space where the air can go through to make it bigger. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. And every day we are bombarded with all kinds of stuff. We step out of our home and we're like, oh my God, this and that, like all kinds of stuff. We get bombarded, billboard signs and honkings and, language. Like I think, when was it? Oh yes, 2 days ago on a Sunday, I went with my daughter to the department store to get something for myself and they play this what they call pipe music. Is that what they play in the music store? It was giving me a headache. It was crazy. I told my daughter, get it quick and get out. I couldn't take it. It was just nonsense. It was nonsense. And coming out of the store and breathing the fresh air was like heavenly. Thank you, Krishna, So, and that's just what material world is all about. We really need to be in association of the devotees. We really need to lean on someone. It's not just going to the temple saying Haribol, how are you? And that's it. And I come home. It's me, my family, my son. I read, great. I chant, wonderful. I do service, wonderful. But there is no devotees that we can call and say and discuss personal challenges. No, we need it. We really need it, because if anything happens to us, that devotee knows this is what he was going through. This is what she was having a challenge with. I kind of know what's going on. Let me pull them out. So we need devotee association. That is our saving grace. That is our saving grace, because that's what Krishna wants. That's why Prabhupada built a house where the whole world can live in. And in a house, you find people, not just furnitures. You find people, you know, and that's what it is. That's what it means, devotee care. You know, we care for each other. We check in with each other. You know, we speak to each other. Like I was talking to one devotee in my temple, and I knew that this devotee was going through so many challenges. We tried to connect, and we just couldn't. And one time I said, you know what? Come on Wednesday night, we're going to talk, you know, and we talked. And it was, I mean, and he was crying, you know, and now he feels, oh, Krishna, you just saved me. That's what we need. We just need that moment. So to your answer, Prabhu, devotee association. That's your answer. They are the ones that will help us to chant. They are the ones that will help us to get out of Maya. They are the ones, because when we are mentally sick, we don't know what we want. Sri Devi can attest, because she's a counselor, you know, a psychologist. When we are mentally sick, we don't know what we want. We need someone else to tell us this is the medicine, because we're the patient. So it'll take another devotee to tell us, no, try this medicine. It's going to be bitter, but I'm going to walk the journey with you, and we'll come out of this fine. So we need devotees to help us. You know, sometimes we need devotees to even tell us, don't eat too late, because next morning you cannot wake up. We need that help. Don't eat after 7:30, or you know, whatever. You know, don't eat this. Like that's one of our brahmacharis in our temple. He's, you know, he's gotten better because we get on his case. You know, he's very attached to sweets. I said, listen, your mom is diabetic, so you don't want to be gulping on sweets just because you think you're 28 years old. And we restrain him. Loving devotional, loving, you know, exchange. This is the 6 loving exchanges that we were given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Mother Nitai Sevani, you know, Sri Devi knows her very well. She says, out of the 6, the 4 we do it beautifully. Giving prasadam, accepting prasadam, giving gifts, accepting gifts. We do it like A1, but not the other 2. Because why? We have to open up ourselves. We have to make ourselves vulnerable. It's a fear thing. But we need to do that to build relationships, you know, and only the devotees can save us, Prabhu. Only the devotees. Because if you think about it, even for dying moments, there's the devotees that's going to chant in our ears. We can't chant at that time. The devotees are the ones that's going to chant in our ears, and until we give that last breath. So it's devotees, Prabhu. Take shelter of the Lord's devotees to help us not slip away, to pull us out. And sometimes to say, hey, that's a cliff, don't fall off. You know, that's a dead end. Turn around. It's the devotees. I hope that helped, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think there is a comment or question on the yeah. So any other question? Sri Devi, would you like to say something, add something?
I was thinking exactly about what you said, that so much mercy is available. We are not ready to receive it.
Yes.
And then, you know, we complain that, oh, what happened? Why did this happen? How it happened? So as you were saying that, that struck me as like, you know, bullseye. absolutely bullseye. There's so much mercy. And just today, I was hearing reminiscences of Srila Prabhupada, where Srila Prabhupada was telling Tamal Krishna Maharaj that don't worry about money. Money will come. Krishna, if he wants, he can give you the whole of USA. The question is, will you know what to do with it?
Because sometimes we can misuse it.
All right. Not only that, we think money is the answer to my problems. Oh, I need to have. But will you actually, supposing Krishna gives you $10 million, will you know what to do with it? We think this is our need, but actually, our need is for Krishna
Yes.
and his protection. That's what we need. It's not that I need so much money or I need this thing or I need that. We focus on something material as this is what I need, and when I get it, everything is going to be hunky dory.
So true. So
But how long?
true.
But how long that's going to last?
Yeah.
We don't know. Any moment, death can come, take away everything. So, our attempt in this lifetime, at least now that we are trying to be devotees, should be how can I increase my Krishna consciousness? That's the only thing we need to worry about, really and truly speaking. That's the only thing we need to worry about.
Such a good point, Sridevi. Yes. And the more we think, how can I become more Krishna conscious? What do I have to do? Is do all the tools, do everything that it takes, because, we have to be in that emergency consciousness for Krishna consciousness. And if we have that emergency consciousness for Krishna consciousness, then we will do all the tools and skills so that we can speed up. Because we've been here for so many lifetimes, like, oh my God. And I mean, thank God, I don't know how many, because I think that would probably be a depression moment for me. But, but we've been here, I don't know how long. So while we have the opportunity in hand, make the best out of it, make the best of the bad bargain, apply all the tools and the skills, whatever it takes, and speed up the process. Yeah. Thank you, Sridevi. Thank you. Yes, Revati, please ask a question.
Hi, Krishna.
Hariko.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to the Prabhupada, all glories to
Jai.
all glories to all assembled devotees. Thank you, Mataji, for a very beautiful class, especially about the devotee care. I have a question about this excessive attachment. So how we should practice doing our duties, doing our activities as a duty without that excessive attachment. Even when we are doing a devotional service also, we get that attachment. So how one should get away from this attachment?
Very nice question. I just asked that same question, I think, from one of the senior devotees in Atlanta a couple of days ago. In terms of family, excessive attachment happens in family when we think that they are our property, when we think that we own them. From the beginning itself, our consciousness with family should be, this is given by the Lord to me, the gift. And it is my duty to make sure that the Lord's gift is taken care of. And the Lord's gift is not being, abused or, or whatever, right? So the more we have this consciousness of, this is the Lord's gift to me, and it is my duty, for example, as parents, our duty is, we have children, but sometimes the attachment becomes so much that we think that we own them. Like I remember and my father had that consciousness actually when my husband came to meet my father before we got married, for marriage. I remember my dad telling my husband, he says, "You're taking my property away from me." That's what my dad said. She's my property and I own her. So that consciousness means that I can do whatever I want to do with you. So when we have that attachment of, this is my child, this is my husband, this is my wife, and I can do whatever I want to do with you and make you what I want to make you, that's attachment. As opposed to saying, you know what? I'm here to liberate you. The Lord has given you to me. I'm here to raise you, to liberate you, to guide you, to teach you, to help you, Once we have that consciousness, then that is always going to remind us that, okay, Krishna, you help me how to raise this. Sometimes I feel bad, like I come across parents, in my temple where they insist that the child goes to an Ivy League school. I mean, I have one kid in my temple, really, really sad. I felt really bad for him, that he actually told me 3 years ago, Mataji, if I don't go into an Ivy League school, my dad said that I am a disappointment to his life. Kids don't need to hear that. See, that means that we are telling you dance according to my music. Who are we? Once we have that consciousness of you dance according to my music, what I say is law, my words is the law of this house, like that, that means we are owning them as our property, as opposed to allowing the child to find out and develop, and we guide them. Even though we're allowing the child to develop and learn and identify and know who they are, we're not going to say, okay, go out in the material world, figure out and come back. No, we'll hold your hand and we'll help you figure out who you are and develop and evolve. That is service, as opposed to saying, no, you don't become this way. I'm going to make you this way. That's attachment. So attachment comes when we think that we own something. When we own something, that's when attachment comes, So we cannot say that, so that's attachment. Now, when it comes to service, it's the same thing. Service also means we think that I own the service, so I should do how it should be done. No. Service should be, I am sharing the mercy with others. That's one of the lessons that I learned in my devotional service from my senior God sister. She told me that we should never think that we own the service to the point where no one can have it. When we are given a service to execute, our mood should be, yes, this is my service and I'm going to see that it gets done, as opposed to dropping it. That whole concept of uninterrupted service, ahaituki. Yes, when we're given a service, we should see that it gets done. But the mood shouldn't be, it's my service, no one else should do it, and I'm not giving the mercy I'm not going to share it. That's unhealthy attachment. I hope that helped, Revati.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, beautifully said. Like attachment is like more like, how you want others to do. Like, it's like
Yes.
mine. Yeah. So
Yes.
still you can
Like my first daughter, of course, she's a grown woman now, but when she was in college, she changed her major 3 times. Because first she wanted to do IT, then she wanted to do, I forgot what it was, and then she wanted to, I forgot now actually. But I had to help her figure out what inspired her. What does she want to do? What does she like to do? So she had to find herself what attracts her. And finally she found and yes, it took her extra 2 years to finish her degree. I didn't mind that. I told her, find what you want to do. Don't rush because you have to do it within a certain time to get your bachelor's. No. So I allowed her. So, and we held her hand. We held her hand when we allowed her, and she finally found what she wants to do. Yes, it is definitely not medicine and engineering and computers, but why? Because why force our children to do something because we want them to do, but they don't want to do it? Because why? Because it pays more.
yes.
And that's what we do to our kids. This one pays more, so go for that degree. But I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be an engineer, but we make them do that. But do they have an interest? And I mean, like I have few devotees in my temple, grown men actually. And they have told me, Mataji, it's so good that you allowed your kids to choose, because I was forced to do IT and now I'm in IT and I didn't like it. I did it because my mom said so, because my dad said so. But that's all I know. That's the only living, but I wish I could become something else. So we don't want those kind of regrets,
Yes, yeah.
you know?
We see that lot nowadays. Like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
yeah.
Yeah. So that is excessive attachment, making our children, sometimes what we do is we make our, our children fulfill our desires.
Mm.
That is attachment. Actually, that is control.
Mm.
That is control, which is attachment. I didn't do it, so you're going to fulfill my desires. My family member, they have a doctor, so you got to fulfill that desire. This other family has whatever, so you got to meet up that standard. At the end of the day, like I always tell people, I say, at the end of the day, will that family come and save you from your bills? I mean, seriously. If the answer is no, are you living for yourself or are you living for your neighbor? So yeah, we have to be very careful what we pass on to the next generation. They have
Yeah.
their own karma. They don't have our karma. Sometimes as parents, we think I gave birth to them, so they have my karma. No, they have their own set of karmas and they got to figure it out. And we have to be there to guide them to figure it out, not to control them, to have them be like us and fulfill our desires. I'll tell you a quick story. My second daughter, she is musically inclined like my husband, very much, playing the piano. And many years ago, I used to play the piano and I couldn't finish playing it. So I enrolled my second daughter in the same actually in UK they have it. I'm sure you guys know Royal School of Music. It's very popular in UK. So I was in that school and I couldn't finish all the 8th grades, all the 8th levels. I did only halfway. So it was always my desire to have my daughter be part of it. So when she was musically inclined, I put her in that school. And after the second year, she didn't want to do that school because she was a freelance player like her dad, not, playing by school. So when she was 10 years old, she's not 22 now. When she was 10 years old, when she wanted to stop that class, and I was pushing her, she goes, Mom, am I doing it for you or for me? And I was like, whoa, she just slapped my face. She goes, am I fulfilling your desire because you couldn't do it, so you want me to fulfill your desires? Yeah. I said, you know what, girl, you're right. I said, stop the classes. I said, you do what you want to do. So we tend to do that unknowingly.
Yes, Mataji. At a level, sometimes you're not happy with yourself. We try to see those in others,
Yep.
in our
Yep.
kids.
Yep. And then we make them do it because we want them, because that will make us happy. But are they happy?
Yeah.
You know? Very, very, yeah. So that is the excessive family attachment, That's it, and it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous because they will have a miserable life. And at the end, they will blame us. At the end, they will definitely blame us. And we don't want that. It's very painful as a parent to hear that. It's very painful. Yeah. The very nice question, Revati.
Thank you, Mataji. So
Thank
just
you.
excessive love also leads to attachment.
Oh,
Sometimes
yes. Excessive love is blinded love. Excessive love is possessiveness. What's the other word? Obsession, I think is another word. Yeah. Yeah. Excessive love is possessive. You do what I say. And we think it's love. But love should be unconditional,
Mm.
But our love we think it's conditional. So the excessive love is possessiveness, obsession, control. What I say, you do. You can't do because I love you. No, you don't. You're controlling me.
So
See,
both,
as parents, we use that word. I'm telling you no because I love you. No, ma, you're controlling me. You're not not because you love me. Yeah,
your attachments. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Got it, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Very, very nice questions. Thank you. Any other questions, reflections, feedback? If there isn't, I want to thank all of you for allowing me to speak in place of Candramauli Swami, and I hope that Maharaj is happy because he gave me the service yesterday. And I thank all of you for tolerating me and allowing me to share a little bit. Vanchaka Privyascha, Kripasindhabevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Candramauli Swami ki jai.
Jai.
Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Haribol.
Excellent class, Mataji. Very, very
Thank you.
eye-opening.
Thank
So
you.
happy. Sorry,
Guru
I'm not.
Smarsi.
I'm away, so I couldn't join in with the
No
video.
problem.
Excellent
Thank you,
class. Thank you
Mataji.
so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna to all devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Class Mataji. Thank you. Very well.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, wonderful class.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Sulpesh Prabhu. Thank you.